Three major things to consider before you register your non-profit organization. Yes, I've seen a lot of folks jumping into registering a non-profit organization before sitting down and finding themselves and making thorough research about what is it that which they want to register in this time of the season. So, which these reactions, these actions will somehow destroy a non-profit next time, will somehow cause a lot of problems in the non-profit movement. Why? Because one would have jumped into something which he or she doesn't really know what is it about, and the implications that can be revealed next, and challenges that are often faced in these non-profit spaces. And if you can check very well, even in your community, especially there are non-profit organizations that have ceased operating. Not that they were banned to operate, but it's just the team, the leadership that have later on realized this thing is not easy to lead. This thing is so hard to lead. This thing demands a lot which we can't provide. It's realistically, people of God, to understand this, and it's something that is happening. I'm not saying we should laugh at them, no, but we are feeling sorry for our brothers and sisters that would have jumped into non-profit spaces without thoroughly checking on these few things which I want to share with you. There are three in number, which after this you get to understand where do you stand going further with your non-profit. Without wasting a clock, let me dive into my three aspects that are major that you're under obligation to consider before you jump registering your nonprofit going further. Number one, your level of interest. Your level of interest towards a nonprofit space. What are you really interested in whenever we talk about nonprofit movements? What really triggers into yourself, inside of you, whenever you hear the word non-profit? What are you really interested in around this entity called non-profit organizations? It's very essential you get to know, understand your interests towards this movement. Because once you have tangible interests towards a thing, that thing is bound to make you excited going further. Whenever, that is if you have tangible interests. There are some interests that are for current, while there are some interests that are for both current and the future. You need interests that can keep you going. Be interested in something that is tangible, not to be interested in finances, in attaining grants, in speaking to donors, in traveling. Those are childish interests whenever you want to get into a non-profit. With these childish interests, please, you are not fit for a non-profit movement if you are having this childness interests. Having childness interests will cause you fail in the non-profit going further. I always say to the space that I encourage to say, once you register a non-profit, ensure to take it to another level. I understand that challenges and obstacles will come along the way, but ensure to be strong irregardless of the wave that we might be facing at the time. Because when we register a thing, we are saying and committing ourselves into it. Come rain, come thunder, come what may, we'll keep on soldiering on towards the mark. Tomorrow is definitely sunshine. Believing in yourself that I understand, I can stand for the evidence that will come along. This you are under obligation to understand. Number two, find yourself. There are many people that are living today, yet they don't know themselves. Shalom, and what do you mean, brother? See, having to know your name that is registered on your birth certificate, it is for identification purposes. However, at times our names speak to our future. Yes, we don't deny that. But after you have known your name that is registered on the birth certificate, there is the real self that you're under obligation to identify inside you. What really are you born for in this life? What is your purpose here in life? What is it that you don't struggle to do, yet to bring huge results? What is it that they call you for it? What is it that your neighbor can't do unless you appear? What is it? You need to find yourself. Some people, when they find themselves, they get to discover that they are not fit in non-profit movements. They are not fit in leading a non-profit. But some people force it. This is why you find out that many non-profits fail along the goal. Many non-profits lose grip, lose direction going further. And I don't want that to face such a scenario. It is better, before you register a non-profit movement, to first find yourself. Listen, a non-profit movement is different from a company. If you register a company, you can somehow find ways to tune into your interests. In the non-profit, we use sympathy and empathy to run this movement. But in companies, you have to pay, brother, if you need a service. But in the non-profit, it is a free service to the community. Will you stand the challenges, the obstacles faced by non-profit movements? It's different with the company. So that's why we emphasize on non-profit movements. Ensure you have found yourself. Know where you belong. Know what you can do best into serving the community. Companies also, they do serve the community. Maybe if you have found yourself, you fit well in companies, in registering a company, instead of registering a non-profit movement. Number 3, what's behind your interest towards registering a non-profit organization? This you need to analyze to understand what's really behind this push. Am I pushed because my other peers are registering non-profits and they are excelling? Am I pushed because I saw a brother of mine whom we grew together buying cars after registering a non-profit? Am I pushed by what I hear that non-profits receive huge grants, meet with donors, they travel a lot? What is it that is pushing you? That you're under obligation to understand fully. Get to know this before you register a non-profit. Oh, I'm sharing these things with you so that you will not regret later on. This is the purpose of the Shalom Man, the reason of why we speak in the digital space, going further, to give you guidance on what to do and how to do it. Make sure your push that is behind your interest is valid, is tangible. You cannot say because of what you see other non-profit leaders attaining, gaining, benefiting, then you now want to be found registering a non-profit. That's not a wise idea. You register a non-profit in the sense that you want to serve the community wholeheartedly. A non-profit industry is not an entity that is selling its service to the community, but we are giving our services for free to the community. Not everyone is able to buy a service. Some people are so underprivileged, discriminated in a huge way, in the sense that they can't even get a single dollar to feed themselves going further. No wonder why we encourage and advocate for real philanthropists, for people that are seriously having the heart for the community to make a difference in their communities. Why? Because we need to save people in huge volumes. Where you are strong, I may be weak. Let's work together. Where I'm strong, you might be weak. Let's work together. Tomorrow is sunshine. I hope this communication was touching and nailing it your end to understand fully why you are under obligation to find yourself registering a non-profit and how you should do it in the movement going further. You need to understand these things because we need you in the non-profit space. Let me see you on the next one. Bye for now, folks. I love you.